So welcome back to the show. Now we're talking Chicago favorites. And we get a lot of visitors over the summer because there's nothing like a Chicago summer. And there are some must-tries when it comes to food here in Chicago. One is the Chicago style hot dog. Two, you gotta have the Italian beef. And number three, you have to try the Chicago deep dish pizza. We're just famous for it. And there's a few favorites that when people come, they have to try these few. One, Malnatis. Two, Giordanno's. Number three, Gino's East. And number four, Pequods. Now, a lot of people have their choices. They have their best, they have their not so best. They like this from this, they like this from Pequods, this from Gino's East, this from Giordanno's, and it's just hard to choose. But today what I'm doing, I'm drawing inspiration from all of these pizzerias and making the perfect Chicago deep dish pizza. Yes, you heard it. The perfect Chicago deep dish pizza. So without further ado, that's right. Let's get to it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add to 1 cup of warm water. We want this water between 110 and 115. We're going to add 1 package of yeast and 1 teaspoon of sugar. And what this is going to do, the sugar is going to help this bloom. And then we're going to whisk this. And we're going to let this set aside until it starts to bloom. So we have our yeast in our bowl. And what we're going to do, we're going to turn this on low. Now in here, I have 12.5 ounces of all-purpose flour. I have 2.5 ounces of cornmeal and 1 teaspoon of salt. And then we have about a 1/4 cup of oil here. We're going to mix this on low. And then we're going to slowly add our flour to our bowl. And once our flour comes away from our bowl, what we're going to do, we're going to add our oil to this mixture. And the next step we're going to do, we're going to let this mix until it comes away from the side of the bowl for about 2 to 3 minutes. And after that, we're going to crank it up a notch to medium, and we're going to mix this again for about 7 to 8 minutes until we have a nice, smooth, elastic dough. So now that our dough is all ready to go, what we're going to do, mine's still a little tacky. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to knead this a little more. So what I'm going to do is flour my surface. And then I am just going to, what I'm going to do is add a little flour to this. And I'm going to knead this until it's no longer tacky. So that we have a nice smooth ball. And as always, once it springs back, you know that our dough is nice, and we know that we have that gluten rather. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a bowl. We're going to spray this with oil, and then we're going to place our dough into the bowl with this oil. And we are going to cover this with plastic wrap. And we're going to let this, once we cover this with plastic wrap, we're going to let this sit for about an hour and a half, We're going to let this sit for about an hour and a half until it doubles in size. And while this is doubling in size, what we're going to do, we're going to start our sauce for this. So we'll be right back. So we're back. And we're going to get to making our sauce. I have 28 ounces of San Marzano tomatoes, which we are going to crush up with our hands. So you want to crush these up really nice so that we get nice chunks of tomatoes in here. And now that we're all done, what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the cooking method of this, because this needs to be cooked and simmered and reduced down. So let me clean up and I'll be right back. And we are back. So on medium low, we're going to add some olive oil to this, and then we're going to add a half of an onion. And we're going to cook these onions until they're nice and translucent. And then we're going to add one of my favorites, some roasted garlic to this. And what I want to do is I want to crush this roasted garlic in here just to release that flavor from it. And then we're going to add in our tomatoes. And we're going to cook these tomatoes until they start to reduce. And I have about a teaspoon of basil and a teaspoon of oregano that we're also going to add to this. And one more ingredient I'm going to add to this is about a tablespoon of sugar. And already this smells amazing. Okay, our sauce is now ready, and the way you know your sauce is ready is when you take it and you part it and you still have that in the middle just like that. So our sauce is nice and ready, it's reduced, and the only thing left to do is wait for our crust, wait for our dough rather, and we'll start to assemble this pizza. So we'll be right back. So now that our dough has doubled in size, what we are going to do, take right from it, and we're going to punch this dough down. And I am going to grease this. I'm going to put some oil in here, and I'm going to get this nice, wipe down nice and greased. And then we're just going to flip our dough out into here. So we're going to leave this here, we're going to cover this with plastic wrap, we're going to let it sit for 10 minutes, and we'll be back. Now that our dough has been sitting and the gluten is all relaxed, you see, you can come around and you can just like that. So I only want it to come halfway up. And the first thing we are going to do is layer our cheese. Now I have provolone and I have some mozzarella. I'm going to start with the provolone just by layering it around, just as such. You know, here in Chicago, we're known for our cheesy pizza. Then we're going to take some mozzarella and do the same thing. Start in the middle. But with the mozzarella, we're going to go up here because we're doing this Pequod style. And Pequods have this nice cheesy crust. So we're going to get one more layer in between here. We're going to alternate between provolone and mozzarella. And then here we are. We have our all done. I'm going to sit this aside. I'm going to grab some gloves because the next phase is doing this Malnatis style. And Malnatis, they have the perfect ratio of cheese to meat. And so what they do is they take it and they pinch it here and they break off pieces. And so now that the meat portion is done, what we're going to do now is we are going to spoon on this sauce. Now, when it comes to the sauce, Giordanno's is known for their plenty sauce. I'm borrowing from Pequods with the cheese, and I'm borrowing from Gino's with the crust. And then once we have that, the last thing to do is take some parm, and we're going to sprinkle the top of this with this Parmesan cheese. And voila, there we go. So the next thing to do is put it in our oven and just wait for it. It's going to take 20 to 25 minutes at 425 degrees. So we're going into our oven with this, and hey, we'll be right back. Can't wait for the final. So we are back, and what I went ahead and done was I went ahead and I used my small spatula to break this seal around here because we got this cheese crust that's just amazing. And now what we want to do is we want to get this out of the pan to reveal our crust. Now this has been sitting for about 10 minutes, and so it's still kind of warm. So I want to try to figure out how I'm going to do this. Let's see. So I'm going to, with the help of this spatula, there we go. There we go. Like, I want to bring this over here. This is absolutely beautiful. Oh my God, like if you could smell it. And you see this here? This is that signature Pequods crust. What they do is, as I stated, they put the cheese up a little so that it melts and you get like that nice crispy edge. So this is that Pequods crust. And what I got that Giordanno sauce, because Giordano's packs it with sauce. But I still gotta let this sit maybe like 5 more minutes. And we'll be back for the big reveal. I promise you we'll be back. It's like the championship game, and you know, they keep cutting every time there's something good happening. But I promise you, we'll be back to cut this and see exactly what this is like on the inside. Be back. So we are back. It's been about 10 minutes and I cannot wait to cut into here. Think, how am I going to do this? We're going to start from here. I got my nice Ginsu knife. And I'm going to cut me a nice piece out. Just like that. And look people, I'm ready for this. Okay, let's go for the big reveal. And oh my goodness, do you see that? Oh my goodness. Now this is what I'm talking about. And so the way we do this in Chicago is we eat it with a fork and a knife. So let's go in and grab some. Oh my goodness. Like this cheese is just, oh my goodness. Look, when I tell you this is a hit, oh my goodness. I forgot my phone is here. Look, people, you have got to try this. I'm gone. I am about to enjoy this. Thank you for watching. Hit that like, that share, that subscribe button, and smack that notification bell. That way, you know when the next video is coming out. And until then, thank you for watching. It's Easter. Happy Easter to you. And enjoy your Sunday. And as always, happy eating. Peace out.